Started in just 1 minute. I see that webinar has started already. Yeah, we see that. I will just give it 1 more minute. So we start at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Okay, so welcome to the information session for the bootcamp, everyone. My name is Raja Iqbal. I'm the chief data scientist and one of the lead instructors at Data Science Dojo. I'm going to walk you through the bootcamp curriculum. I'm happy to answer any questions and so on. So I'll go ahead and get started. We have been around for quite some time. We are one of the oldest players in data science and machine learning and analytics upskilling. A lot of graduates, a lot of companies on our portfolio. Pretty much any company that matters on the planet, they have been someone from that company has been trained by one of our in one of our trainings. So I will jump right in. How did the bootcamp actually start? So we'll talk about the bootcamp itself, and then we'll see, what is the curriculum and so on. So, so when we get started, when we look at ChatGPT and Bard and Claude, and we run these very basic scenarios, we are talking about, content generation, create a social media post, create maybe an essay that you're writing for one of your courses. Perhaps you're writing some code, getting some SQL help. There is a lot of I would say misunderstanding or illusion of understanding that these tools create. When you go ahead and try to go and implement an enterprise application using GPT-4 or Llama or any of the models, whether closed source and open source, it is actually very hard. There is issues that you may not have foreseen ahead of time. For instance, none of us actually pays for OpenAI or for ChatGPT or Claude. There are free tiers. I should not say none of us, but many of us do not pay. But it does not mean that these tools come for free. When you go to paid subscription, you pay maybe $10, $20, $30 a month, depending upon which tool you're using. But free tools actually may make us think that it comes for free. But the reality of it is that when you start using these applications in an enterprise, the costs actually add up very quickly. Then there are other issues, around this is your proprietary enterprise data. Are you going to be putting this data? Are you going to be giving this data to ChatGPT or Claude or any of, once again, some of those SaaS software that is available out there? There could be regulatory challenges around that. You cannot, perhaps you cannot share that data with any of these applications. Then you're talking about, data governance, right? So what if, accidentally some regulated data or some proprietary data, your intellectual property or some personally identifiable information, what if that makes it to ChatGPT and, it is not in your control? And this is why many companies actually, they do not actually allow their employees to use some of these tools. Now, whether you use open source or closed source model in your own enterprise application, how do you deal with hallucination? How do you deal with when the knowledge is constantly moving? How do you evaluate the response of a large language model? The prompts are brittle. Sometimes even if you don't change the prompt, still your answers can vary. So there are a lot of issues, issues broadly speaking, from the business challenges like data governance and AI governance challenges, the cost-related challenges. There could be adoption-related challenges. There is some UX design-related challenges. There is correctness of responses challenges. There is engineering challenges. Building an enterprise application, it is much more than just going to ChatGPT and starting to use it. So the bootcamp actually will teach you how to build an LLM application on enterprise data end-to-end. And when I say end-to-end, it really means it, right? So you will learn actually the entire stack of an LLM application, whether it is a RAG application or a fine-tuned application. I will show you the curriculum and the labs that we have and the kind of infrastructure that we have set up. Let me just make sure. Yes, I'm looking at the current screen here. So it is a comprehensive curriculum designed by practitioners. We actually are a unique company in the sense that we are not merely a training company. Anything that we teach, we also actually practice. So what that means is that we have built an enterprise software that we license to Fortune 500 companies, and we have actually big customers. You're talking about 50 plus, 100 plus $1 billion companies that are using the software that we have built for precisely this purpose. We cover all topics, not purely from a technical standpoint. So when we talk about a particular open source library, we are also going to talk about how did we use it in building the software that we have, and then of course you will see the software that we have built and how did we use it, the business challenges, the product management challenges, the engineering challenges, the deployment challenges in the cloud, and so on. So we actually think of it as a much more getting the bigger picture of building LLM applications, which is beyond just building, learning one library here or one library there. It is a very hands-on bootcamp. You will be learning anytime when you learn one topic, you're going to go and learn the practical hands-on aspect of it. And then there is a comprehensive project that you do at the end of the week, 5 days, 8 hours a day, fairly intense. And on the last day, you build your own LLM application. The bootcamp actually, we are bringing this bootcamp with leading names in this space. VB8 is one of the leading vector databases in market. Neo4j is leading in terms of knowledge graphs, and then now knowledge graphs, they can be used with in conjunction with RAG. And for LLM applications, Union is basically deployment of your models. Arise is a leading platform in observability and guardrails and monitoring, tracing of your model. RunPod, GPU clouds, we get the GPU compute from them. Serrano Academy, we have Luis Serrano, who is one of the instructors for the bootcamp, and the LangChain is, think of this as LangChain is, but for the lack of a better word, I mean, it's an orchestration. I mean, not quite an orchestration framework. I mean, it has some orchestration component to it. Think of this as a library that will give you pretty much most of the functionality that you need to build an LLM application. I will elaborate on this in a moment. And then you get up to $500 US of credit for all software and cloud services needed. So you do not need to bring anything except a browser-enabled laptop. No need to install any software. We have set up our labs in a manner that if in most cases you will be using our own learning infrastructure for running all the labs. We have all the patches, all the libraries, all the dependencies. We have installed those. And then in case of GPU compute, we have our partners who are actually, who will be sponsoring the compute cost for your model fine-tuning and other exercises. I will elaborate on this. And we have partners and speakers from leading companies in the world who are in this space, who will be speaking and teaching this bootcamp. Let me keep going here. What I'm going to do here is very quickly, I will go to the curriculum overview. What do we cover? What is the philosophy? What does the learning infrastructure look like? And we'll go to the partnerships and testimonials later. So think of this the bigger picture. When you build an LLM application, you need for building an LLM application. ChatGPT is a working functional LLM application. When you go there, well, you see, and you ask a question, and then you magically get that answer. And it is actually hard to appreciate what goes on behind the scenes. So, what we will actually talk about is what does it take, and how would you actually build an LLM application from scratch on your own. So that is what we will be teaching you. So one of the components in building an LLM application is, well, the LLMs. And LLMs can be closed source and open source. We touch upon both open source and closed source LLMs. In terms of vector databases are going to be a key component in this entire ecosystem. We'll talk about vector databases. When you are dealing with vector databases, you need embeddings or models that the encoder models, the models that actually create these embeddings. We'll talk about that. Then orchestration, a few things can come under this category. You have, a bunch of Python, Llama Index, and other LangChain type tools. We cover LangChain in a lot of depth. Once you deploy an application, you have to monitor. You have to be able to monitor these applications. So we will get into the monitoring and guardrails aspect. How do you log things? How do you actually apply guardrails on your prompts and also on the responses? So in short, in summary, we actually cover the entire stack as you would expect. Any good comprehensive curriculum to do. Let me actually go and just see what we have. And very often people ask about prerequisites. All we expect you to know is some basic Python programming understanding. And we have tutorials to actually get you started even before the bootcamp. So when you do this bootcamp in person, or even some people, they attend in person, some people, they are joining remotely. And, so at the same time, some people are sitting in the class, other people are joining remotely. And that's it, right? So, and this is a requirement that can be met very easily. But if you have never, ever done any kind of programming, no SQL, you have not done any SQL at all, you have not done any basic programming ever, it could be difficult, but anyone who has at least programmed and they are in the technology area, they can pick up Python, and the rest of it we will actually teach. So this is a technology stack that we use at different points in time in the curriculum. I will actually switch to our learning platform, and I will actually show you what we have. So this is our LLM models, large language models bootcamp. So when you sign up, you get access to this learning platform. You can see on the left here, there is different topics. So all of these topics are going to be covered. I will go through each of them in different levels of detail. In some cases, I will provide more details. In other cases, I will just mention that this is what we do. So when you come in, we start with a session, about 2 to 3 hours of session, to give you the bigger picture. Why do you need a vector database? What are embeddings? And, what does it mean to even create embeddings? why a vector database, then why do you need guardrails, what is a prompt, what is fine-tuning, what is RAG, and what are the risks when you're building an enterprise application. Once you have done that, we start within the first 2 to 3 hours, we have set the bigger picture and bigger context. We start to get inside the business of embeddings. And when we talk about embeddings, let me see if this is the right slide deck. Not this one, actually, this one. Okay, let me actually, I see that there are a lot of questions have piled up. So let me actually handle the questions. Maybe I will handle them backward. Is this bootcamp just videos and reading, self-paced, or live session? This is actually a very, very live session. John, this is your question. This is a live and super interactive sessions, a lot of intense discussions that are happening, and so on. So we actually do live sessions. Some people attend remotely. Other people, they attend training in our training facility here at Data Science Dojo. Then the next question here is, what is the reason for having multiple vector DBs and orchestration, etc.? I mean, I don't know. I mean, everyone is trying to grab a market share, John. What is the reason to have multiple companies launching their own word processors, web browsers? So, I mean, that's true with anything. So different companies, they are coming up with different vector databases. Some companies are AI first vector database companies. Like VV8 and Pinecone, and Milvus and Zillis. I mean, some of these companies, they started as vector databases. Other companies, they are catching up, like MongoDB, Postgres. They were traditionally NoSQL or SQL databases, and now they are actually coming up with their own vector functionality. Okay. Let me see. John, I know you have another question. I will come back to it. I want to make sure that I have answered other people's question. What vector database will be used in the curriculum? Traditionally, we use VV8, which is one of the top vector databases in the industry. But we have exercises in our learning platform. I will show you in a bit, Sridhar. This is your question. I will show you in a bit. I mean, we have examples where you can actually, the same examples in Microsoft Azure Search, which also offers vector functionality, and Redis. So we have, in class, we will only be covering VV8 in detail, but you have self-paced exercises that you can perform in other vector databases, other vendors. What is the chunk size used to store a vector in database? I have no idea, right? It depends upon the application, and this is actually the discussion that we actually have in quite a bit of detail when we are discussing RAG application, because the chunk size actually varies from application to application, and it is, the answer is it depends. Are there discounts for the bootcamp if online only? There are actually discounts. There's no exclusive discount for online only. I'm assuming online, we don't have a self-paced version. So if you're attending remotely, the price is about the same, but reach out and we are happy to talk. Do you give access to physical servers which have NVIDIA GPUs for use for training models as part of the lab project? No, I mean, we do not give. I wish we had the money to actually host that many GPUs or that many machines for 20-ish people. But I assure you that what infrastructure that we give you behind the scenes, there's a physical server sitting. I mean, I don't know if you want to see the physical server, how it looks like. But in reality, the exercises, it doesn't matter whether NVIDIA GPUs are physically here or they are physically somewhere else and you're connecting with them. So they will be somewhere else. They will be in RunPod Cloud. They have given us, they provide credit for that. So Runpod gives us credit, and then we share those, and then you connect to those servers that are, I assure you, they're physically somewhere in some data center, but you will be connecting with them remotely. Let me see. Where can we find the recording after the session? It will be posted. You are on the, I think you will get a link to the recording since you are on the Zoom call, John. So you should be getting a link right after. For those watching on LinkedIn, this will become a LinkedIn live session right after. Okay, the other question. So as the output from the bootcamp, would we have a production-ready LLM application that we could actually sell in the market? Oh, no, of course not, John. I mean, if it was that easy, no, but you will be able to build it, right? So just imagine, right? So it is a non-trivial pursuit because I don't know whether you know coding or not. What's your background? But you will know all the nuances that it will take, and you will have a basic working prototype by the end of the bootcamp. But no, I mean, we certainly cannot guarantee that you will have an application that you will be able to sell by the end of the bootcamp. Product development simply does not work like this, so that's not going to happen. Do you cover performance tuning in the bootcamp? I don't know what that means, Sridhar. We do talk a lot about we talk a lot about performance. I don't know what you mean by performance tuning. Yes, we do talk a lot about it, right? Will attendees get job after completing the project? I mean, we are not a job placement bootcamp. No, I mean, there's no guarantee. I think it is just a bootcamp, and that's pretty much it, right? Any prerequisites qualification required for this session? I'm from non-coding background, considerably. If you have basic Python skill and if you're interested in large language models, yes, I think you should be able to. Get by very easily. Okay, Sridhar, I will give a pause because otherwise, I mean, this is too many questions, so I will have to actually give it a pause and I will come back. Sorry about that, right? So because I have to actually finish these questions, finish the session as well. So let me actually go back. So what we do is we talk about transformers. We have Luis Serrano. He actually teaches the transformer architecture. Talks about anything that you can imagine around transformers. I mean, this is a fairly detailed session about how do you build actually. Let me actually zoom it in. So you can see that we talk about AI sentiment analysis, and later on we talk about the encoder decoder architecture. I think my machine is actually taking a bit some time to actually load these slides. I don't know what is going on. My browser may be out of memory, but you guys see this? It is there. And then we have practical exercises on creating embeddings and all those transformer related exercises. Let me give you this in detail, this session on vector databases. So when we go to vector databases, let me actually show you what we discuss. I will just expand on one section. There's no way I can actually cover every single thing that happens in the bootcamp. So when we talk about a vector database, we talk about why do we need a vector databases, and then what are the different indexing approaches. For instance, you see this HNSW index. Why do you need vector compression? How do you scale? And then the really hybrid search, vector search, semantic search. We talk about all of those topics. We cover all of these at length. You can see vector searches, keyword searches, hybrid searches, and then in addition to that, you need some sort of filtering. Your traditional, SQL-like querying, where you are actually querying based on some facets. Then we are, I will just scroll through the slides and we explain, why do you need this kind of indexing? How do you find this needle in a haystack in the sense that you're trying to find a single document or you're trying to find a match for an embedding where there are potentially, billions of embeddings, and how do you actually get that sub-millisecond response from these billions of embeddings out there? And then we talk about, these layered proximity graphs, HNSW. We talk about, then slowly the discussion starts going toward RAG, and so on. So once that is done, we are going to go into practical exercises. And then you can see that we have exercises around vector search and similarity search, and then generative search and product compression and semantic caching and so on. So we talk about all of these ideas in theory, and then we go ahead and implement this. Let me click on just one of the labs. The way this lab works is, out of all of these 6-7 labs that are, so we do all of them, click on them one by one, and now you can see that you have this, a VV8 server that is already deployed. Then we create a collection. We import the data into a VV8 vector database. Then we do a hybrid search. We play around with these parameters here. We try to understand actually, how many search results there are bound. Alpha equals 1, whether it's a fully hybrid search or fully semantic search, or maybe something in between, a bit of hybrid, bit of semantic search. Or a combination of both. Then adding some kind of filter. So we talk about not just the theory aspect of it. You will see all of this in action. So that is going to be the idea. Now you can see that we are talking about advanced RAG. We have this fundamentals of prompt engineering. Fine-tuning, when we talk about fine-tuning, we actually give you access to everyone gets some credits to this run pod GPU cloud. And then we give you Llama 2, 7 billion 4-bit quantized model. You download it from Hugging Face, you fine-tune, you get a data set, you fine-tune it, and compare the fine-tuned model with the model that has not been fine-tuned. You play around with different parameters, more epochs, less epochs, changing different parameters in fine-tuning. And even before we actually do the hands-on exercise, we first talk about, what is fine-tuning, what is transfer learning, what is quantization, what is low-rank adaptation, what is QLoRa, which is quantized low-rank adaptation. So we talk about all of these issues. So first we talk about the theory, then we talk about the practical side of it, and we try to understand, when would you use fine-tuning, when would you use a RAG-based architecture. Once that is done, then you are going to go to LangChain, and we have in LangChain, you can see that we cover the entire LangChain stack. We could talk about model I/O. We talk about retrieval. What is model I/O? Think of it as LangChain being a library that allows you to create templates of prompts. You can connect to different types of models. You can leverage maybe something in Amazon Bedrock or Azure or OpenAI or Meta or Anthropic. I will show you maybe just one example just to give you a sense. We talk about a lot of different things here. So for instance, different kind of document loaders, different kind of text splitters, vector stores, and so on. How do you control the chunk size? How do you connect? How do you parse a PDF, and so on? You can see that we have these examples. We are somewhere in this. We are actually reading it up, and just looking at these chunks. where are we? So I will show you this example here. We talk about chains. Different kind of chains are possible: simple sequential chains, summarization chains. So for instance, right? So what would it look like? We will give you a key for. Let me just copy and paste the key, my key here. So we'll give you an OpenAI key, and you will be building. So while you do this exercise, so just LangChain is about 6 to 8 hours of pure hands-on work. Each of these that you see on the left, model, retrieval, memory, agents, this is your agentic framework, LangChain, LangGraph, about 6 to 8 hours of quite intense work. And when you are doing the labs, so you don't have to worry about installing anything. We don't want you to worry about dependencies. So in this case, let me copy and paste my key here. You can see that this is talking about some chains. So this is an example of a simple sequential chain. And then you run. And in this case, you can see that it is calling an OpenAI call. It is making an OpenAI call. And then, this is a router chain. And then once again, it is making an OpenAI call and then running it. So basically, we are not just covering things in theory. There is, we are actually doing things in practice. Now, we talk about agents in quite a bit of detail. And then we recently also, as LangGraph is becoming more popular, building these agentic systems, we are also actually covering LangGraph in quite a lot of detail. I will give you an idea, agents and tools. What is agents and tools? You basically have different, um, tools. I don't know what to call them. You have a search tool, you have a web search tool, you have a API calling tool. So you are actually now letting LLM work on different tasks and decide what task actually should be performed based on context. So in this case, I believe this exercise is with the DuckDuckGo search tool. And if you look at this, let me see. I will have to copy my OpenAI key here. So if you look at this here, this is an example of it will go and selectively go and search for, okay, this is from the last bootcamp. This was before the election. So you can see, but maybe I can say, I can ask who is the next president of the United States, right? So, and it will go and it will query in real time, and it will come back and give me an answer. If you ask this question to a standard non-agentic large language models are their knowledge is frozen in time at the time of training, and those models would not know what is who's the next president, because they are not aware, or they are not familiar with they are not familiar with they are not familiar with what is happening. They don't even know what the current date is, right? So when you need this kind of behavior, that you want to use the language or the semantic capability of a large language model and combine it with some other tools, then you use this kind of agentic framework. And you can see that it was able to pull that Donald Trump has won the 2024 presidential elections and will serve as the president for a second time. If you ask this question to a vanilla base LLM, it will not be able to answer. Let me go. I think this, just the outline actually takes us close to an hour. So I will try to rush and make sure that we finish on time. Let me go back to the bootcamp. Now, so what else? I think I've mentioned fine-tuning. Okay, now you know how to build an application. What do you do? How do you keep your application safe? How do you log? How do you monitor? And for that, we actually have about four-ish hour session where we talk about monitoring and logging and observability and generally call it LLM ops. We actually have our partner Arise. I should have mentioned, I mean, for LangChain, well, LangChain is a partner. VV8 is our vector databases partner. RunPod actually provides us compute for the fine-tuning exercises. So, I mean, they are our partners. So in this case, for observability and guardrails, Arise is the leading platform. Arise is our partner that actually helps us with this aspect of the bootcamp. And you will learn how to build safe applications in using any large language model for any purpose. We spend quite a bit of time on evaluation, because if you build something without knowing how to evaluate, well, you don't know how to build it. And in this case, if you look at this, we are using different kinds of evaluation. We have different evaluation labs. RAGS is really for when you build a retrieval augmented generation-based application. RAGS is the framework. You can see that we have, once again, we have the entire library. We have, all of these exercises that are there. We cover some of them for evaluation, some of them in class, and then we leave some to your, for your own later on for your consumption. But you can see that we are covering pretty much all aspects of an LLM building application. We also have sessions around where we talk about the product management and the product engineering aspect of building an application. What are the risks and what are the challenges when you're building an application at scale? We'll talk about the software architecture. What is an ideal architecture? We have done it. I mean, we have like $50, $100 billion companies that have taken dependency on our framework that we have, our platform rather, that we have built. So, we know how to build scalable LLM applications. And going back to the question, I think someone asked, hey, by the end of the week, will I have an application that we can sell? It took us 1.5 years, and we have barely started selling. So a real enterprise application that you can monetize on, maybe you can do, definitely you can start consulting work right after. But building a product that people will be willing to, enterprises will be willing to pay, I mean, it is non-trivial pursuit. We have like 36 people working on it for 1.5 years, and now we are barely now we are selling that product, right? So it took us a while because enterprise applications, they are not easy to build. But you will understand what will entail. You will be able to evaluate and you will know what will it take, but building it, no, that will not happen during the week. So I think that I will take, once again, I will pause here and then see. I see 6 more messages here. So let me see. How many projects are part of the bootcamp? It depends what you consider project. I mean, project in a project sense, there is only one final project that you will be building. But I mean, there are so many exercises, and if you consider those, then, I mean, maybe there is a few dozen different things that you will be doing, but eventually everything will come together, and then they will become a single project. What is the difference between RAG and fine-tuning? That is what we will cover in the bootcamp. Broadly speaking, RAG is when you combine a large language model, foundation model or large language model with a search type infrastructure, retrieval augmented generation. And then fine-tuning is that you modify the model itself and then try to use it for your own specific purpose. Yes, I mean, there could be, I heard that RAG provides fine-tuning functionality. Yes, I mean, yes and no. Yes, we do cover responsible AI. I think that is what you meant. Okay. So I think I have gone through all of the questions here. Let me go over, wrap up my slide deck here. Um, so let me actually go. I think I've talked about most of these things. A lot of detail. Frankly, you may have noticed, I mean, I'm trying to rush through things because the amount of material that we cover in this bootcamp it is just incredible, right? So we are proud that, I mean, we are the only bootcamp at the moment in the world. I mean, depending upon the word bootcamp, I mean, just in a short, I mean, you can call anything a bootcamp. I mean, I've seen like a day-long bootcamp as well, but I mean, this is a 40-hour, very intense training, and we have seen phenomenal results. People have gone back and they've started building um, things. They've started building things when they went back, and they found it to be very, very useful, very complete, very hands-on. One question that comes up is, do I have to be a developer? No, you don't have to be. You can be a founder, you can be a CTO, you can be a dev manager, you can be a technical product manager. As a matter of fact, I would strongly encourage anyone who is doing technical product management for an LLM product to learn this skill, because you cannot. There is absolutely no way that you can actually product manage a product that is an LLM product without knowing all the nuances. There is so many what I call the landmines when you're building these applications. It is actually it will help you become a very seasoned LLM product manager, if or very experienced product manager in the sense that it will give the technical underpinnings of LLMs if you go through the bootcamp. So this is expected instructors for next time. We have a bunch of different instructors who show up from different companies. I teach about 30 to 40% of the bootcamp, and um, and then rest is actually taught by some of our partners and other people who attend. And here's some of our partners who actually think that we do a great job in teaching people. And here's a bunch of logos. I mean, if you look at this, there are. This is not by no means this is complete list. I mean, we cannot keep up. We have people traveling from overseas. You can see some of the like really big, logos, $1 trillion companies. They are sending people to us for getting trained. We have done enterprise trainings for big companies, in the US and outside of the US. So, I mean, we have been in this space for quite some time, for a long time, and now in LLMs, I mean, we are the only training company at the moment that is doing these boot camps for sure. I expect more to come in, and we have been doing this for almost more than a year now. So the next bootcamp is happening in Seattle. If you prefer to join in person, December 2nd to 6th, you can more than welcome to come in. Of course, in the in-person setting, the seating and the capacity is limited. But the same camp, we have, the classroom is set up in a manner that remotely people attend, they dial in, and they can see everyone in class. Everyone in class can see them, and all those multi-view cameras, etc. So we have everything in place. We have this classroom. And then it's a very interactive experience, even for those. If you're located far away, you should be fine. You should be able to actually attend remotely as well. And I think that is it on my end. Let me see if there are any questions here, any Q&A, any more questions. Okay, I'm happy to take any questions, but the projects, Sridhar, we are, can you explain the project that we will do? You will be building a basic RAG application. I'm putting in guardrails, putting in different kind of chains in a single application. The way this will work is we'll give you boilerplate code for a basic LLM application with a very basic, web experience. So, and then you will be just deploying it. And then we'll give you exercises. Hey, can you add this chain? Can you add memory feature? Can you add PDF upload feature or not? So, and that's what we'll do. So it will be a very basic agent. You're starting with a single single assistant, and then and adding some more agentic behavior to it. So that is what the project is going to be at a very high level. Okay, so are there any questions about anything? Where is the vector database stored? I don't know, Sridhar, if I can answer your question. Is it in AWS S3 or block storage? I do not know because we are using BB8 and it varies from. It depends upon which vendor you're using, right? And it is definitely not S3. I can tell you this because the kind of storage that you need for a vector database, it is very different from your S3 or block storage. But and that is the detail that we will be actually covering during our bootcamp. The agenda, yes, someone from the team can share on a link. If you search for LLM Bootcamp, our LLM Bootcamp page has the entire agenda of entire curriculum. It is listed there. Okay, so thank you so much, everyone. And we are looking forward to seeing at least some of you at the bootcamp. Please feel free to reach out. The team has shared some links if you would like to talk to an advisor or an instructor. We are happy to get on a call to help you out. Thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of the day.